have given a name to my pain. The Batman.
Always waiting for some Batman to save you.
It's simple. We kill the Bat of Gotham. You don't really think you'll win, do you? I'm Batman.
Hey now, you are listening to episode 91 of the Batman on Film podcast. BOF is the sponsor, as well as a proud member of the Batman Podcast Network. Check out all the shows at batmanpodcastnetwork.com. Actually, I need to go through that and clean that up a little bit. I think there's some shows on there that...
There's some defunct shows.
Yes, that no longer exist, yes. I am the host of this here podcast, as well as the founder and editor-in-chief and all-around Batman guru of Batman on Film, Bill Jett Ramey. With me today are the great Batman on Film Roundtablers, Justin Kowalski and Ryan Haas.
Hey.
As well as the co-host of the Batman on Film podcast and Star Wars aficionado.
Hey, you got the Star Wars plug-in for me. Good job.
I did it for you. You haven't had a chance. Rick Shew from Plano, Texas. Hello, Rick. How are you?
Good morning.
How's everybody? All right. Just before we go on, we got the Batman on Film Justice League watch parties have expanded quite a bit from just Austin. So
they've become a league of themselves.
Yes, we've got just about...
Is there one party for each Justice League member?
There's 5 right now. Yes. We have...
but does Superman get one?
Yes. He'd be dead right now. But
spoilers, man.
We've got just about the entire country covered, almost. Justin, you are in Pasadena, California, right?
Yeah, well, that's where the party will be. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wait, that's where the Justice League. Yes, will be there.
Yes, Pasadena's the best. Old Town Pasadena.
Okay, so you can check that out. All of it you can check out.
I love Pasadena.
Yes, Pasadena's cool.
It's a real cool city.
You can check it out on Batman on Film proper. Ryan will be in Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina.
Yes, that's correct.
Rick and I will be in the great city of Austin, Texas.
Hook 'em horns!
And Chris Clow is now hosting one in Chicago, so we have the Midwest covered.
I'm particularly excited about that one because I have a lot of family there and friends, so I'll be able to help him rally in Chicago.
That is in the north side, I believe, in Skokie, Illinois, which is a suburb of the Windy City. So anyway, again, check out Batman on Film proper for the for details on each. Oh, and I forgot, we have the New York City area covered. Peter Vera.
Oh yeah,
is holding his in New Brunswick, New Jersey, which is train ride. Or I know that there's multi forms of mass transit can get you from New York City to Jersey. So please check all that out. And got 2 East Coast, Midwest, West Coast, California, and almost right smack in the middle of Texas, which Austin is to me is the greatest city in Texas. No offense to Dallas or Houston, or San Antonio or El Paso or whatever, but Austin's pretty cool, right, Rick?
Austin rocks.
All right. So what we're going to do today is we've been prepping and talking about this for months now. When did this start? Last spring? Last winter? But what we're going to do here is, and we're going to get the listeners involved, we have come up with a list of 10 of what we believe are the best / greatest superheroes comic book movie moments or segments on film ever. And we are only doing live action because if we included animation, there's 2 animated scenes I know I could include, and they were both from Batman movies. I would say the opening segment to the Lego Batman movie is one of the top. It's in the top 5 of all time if you just included it, and then I think the scene in Mask of the Phantasm when he first puts on the bat suit and is pretty awesome. But we're going to go live action, and maybe at some point we'll bring in some animation stuff. So, all right, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to bring our list of 10 in, and I'm going to tell you, it was tough because I pulled my list that I had made earlier and looked at it this weekend, and I had 13 on here, and it was hard for me to cut the 3 that I did. It just sucked. So we'll end up, we'll have more than 10. We'll be cutting more than 2 because we're going to come up with a great 8, a final 8. And we're going to seed them, and then we're going to take it online and let the listeners and readers of Batman on Film pick with 4 showdowns, and we'll get to the final 4, then we'll get to a championship, and then we'll have the winner, and then after that we'll reconvene and we'll discuss the bracket. So what we'll do is I'll start, and I'm just going to mention, and these are in no particular order, and then we'll discuss each scene. If we all have it, or I would say if 3 out of 4 of us have it, it probably is very likely going to make the final 8. Would you all agree with that premise? Okay. All right. So I'm going to start here, and we'll discuss and see if we can add it to our list. Here we go. For me, I will start with the Superman saves Lois Lane helicopter scene, the "You've got me, who's got you" moment from Superman the movie 1978. Anybody want to argue that it does not belong, or want to make a case that, along with me, that yes, it should belong in our top 8?
It's in mine. It's in my top 10.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
Justin?
Yeah, I think it's a good scene. No qualms.
All right, Rick?
Well, that's a great scene.
But does it belong? That's what I'm asking you all.
We'll see what happens.
Well, yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay,
because if we get another Superman scene later, we might be like, ooh, which one should actually get on the top 8 list?
Okay. Is it in your top 10? Does everybody have it in their top 10?
No.
Okay. Ryan?
Yes.
Rick?
I did. Hold on. Man, I tell you
Spoilers,
what.
It's the only Superman scene in my top 10.
This was a very hard task because of so many great scenes. Actually, I took it out.
Oh, really? Okay. All right, 2 out of 4 have that one. Okay. Batman 1989.
Yes.
The
whole movie.
In general.
Well, I don't think that counts as a segment, but
Upset.
The rooftop opening, I'm Batman.
Yep.
Johnny Gobbs got ripped and took a walk off a roof is on my list. Justin?
That's on my list right now. That was the top one. I just called it Rooftop Encounter. I tried to name everything something.
Yeah, I did name it something. I named it I'm Batman 1989.
Yeah,
Ryan, is it in your top 10?
It's not. I wish it was.
The rooftop scene, the opening scene?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks for paying attention there.
No, I'm just clarifying that's what you said. I'm 100% paying attention.
Yes.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have known it. Okay? Yes, it is in my top 10.
Okay. 3 out of 4, so that's looking pretty good. Moving on. And feel free to talk about each one a little bit if you would like. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, that's why I picked it. I love that scene.
That's one of the best.
It's making me regret not having it on my top 10. Though.
It's really the first introduction of modern cinema Batman. Like,
yes,
in the movie, it just kind of sets the tone of this is who Batman is, and it's iconic. There's just the whole "I am Batman" thing, like that. Oh, I'm Batman. That's outlived the movie. That's kind of transcended everything.
And my list actually, I wrote this before we did our 2 Batman and Batman Returns commentaries, but something I do like and notice in that opening Batman 89 scene is how it echoes the first appearance of Batman in the comics also. Batman showing up on a rooftop, scaring the crap out of 2 guys. That's what happens in Detective 27 too. So I like the comic book origins of that also.
Yeah, I would. I
think that's deliberate.
Oh man, yeah, probably. To me, it's It may be number 1 or 2 for sure. That's just to me. I just personally. All right. From Batman Begins, the end of the movie, the Gordon rooftop scene, Joker card. Yeah. I never told you thanks, and you'll never have to. Batman Begins, and then boom, the music. Justin, do you have that in your top 10, sir?
Not in my top 10, no.
Okay.
As I shifted stuff around, that, oh, dude, there's a lot. There's so much in that movie that's so good, but no.
Okay. Ryan.
It's not on my list because there's so many other things I had to cut it.
Okay. Rick.
Yes, it absolutely is. And I don't see how anybody that is a Batman fan cannot have that scene on their list. Are you kidding me? That's not on your list, right?
That is not. Oh my gosh.
That scene is the best scene in the whole trilogy. It
What?
might be
No.
It might be the best scene ever. That scene is perfect. First of all, it's the first time you really see a true relationship between Gordon and Batman. We were cheated of that in the Warner Brothers 4.
You see that earlier in the film.
Well, I understand it's building to that, but that's the part where they're standing there. He has the bat signal.
No, you're right.
And then he tells them, I never thanked you. You'll never have to. The greatest line ever. The Joker card. Oh my gosh, the anticipation for that. What's this Joker going to be like? And then him jumping off the rooftop. Batman Begins.
Yeah,
it's freaking awesome.
That makes me. I get chills when I see that. I'm with Rick. So we got 2 out of 4, half of it. So we'll have to readdress this one. All right. Oh, it's great, Rick. I'm with you 100%. Can you? 100%, dude. All right. From The Dark Knight. 2008. Batman takes the blame for Harvey Dent's murders. Gordon's speech. The end of the movie. That whole thing. The whole. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be. Mm-hmm. Everything in that whole scene. That is on my list. Rick, you have it?
No.
The hell?
Nope.
Oh, Mr. Everybody has to have Batman Begins. Like, come on, dude.
That last scene in Batman Begins is empirically...
Not as good as this one.
No, it's not.
One of the best scenes ever. And that scene is great. It is great. If we were doing top 20 or maybe even top 15, it would definitely be
Oh, my
there.
God.
But it's not in my top 10, no.
That is...
This is one of the. Let me tell you this. This is one of the most powerful Batman, This is one of the most powerful moments I've experienced in a film ever.
Yeah, until that terrible actor that plays Gordon's son ruins it.
Yeah.
No.
Terrible, God, dude.
Terrible.
I will side with Rick on there. That kid's annoying. What?
That kid's annoying, and it literally takes me out of the scene for a minute. That's why I can't put it in my top 10.
God.
Oh,
It is. Listen,
Really?
the writing of that scene and the execution between Gordon and Batman and Zimmer's music, it's all amazing. But to be in my top 10, it has to be flawless, and that little boy is annoying. That's like they cast. That's like Jake Lloyd's Anakin Skywalker. There, like, yeah.
Okay. Wait until I find some flaws in your other scenes that you have.
Justin, do you agree?
I agree with you 100%.
Thanks,
Is it on
buddy.
your list, Justin? Is it on your list?
That's not on my list. No.
What the heck?
I can't. I don't know.
Bill's gonna shut the
That
show.
don't fill my ass.
Just you take away Batman taking the blame. Take away that part. Just the part where call it in and Batman takes off and that speech is flipping awesome. That speech and him riding off. On the
No
back
one's
top.
denying that. No one's denying that.
That's top 10. That should be in the top 8.
Now, if you say that scene begins right after the kid part's over, I'll agree with you. But that kid, he sucks.
He sucks.
That kid sucks, dude.
That's a terrible casting.
No, he's. What the heck?
He's
no,
not
he's
good.
like, he has a great.
It's basically a
point in the
Culkin.
way-
It's basically a Culkin.
No. Culkin's awesome, by the way.
Look, The Dark Knight is an A+ film. Okay, doesn't mean it's flawless. That little boy sucks.
Are you
Bell's
telling
voice-
me when you saw the end of the film, you were like, "Oh my God, this kid taking me out of the movie. It ruined it."
No, I was tuning him out.
Rick,
Go
did you
away.
turn into a Valley Girl?
I was like, go away.
Yeah.
Go away. Go away, kid. And I was like, good. It ended on a great
Yeah,
note.
okay.
Awesome.
Which kid's more annoying, Joffrey in Batman Begins or James Jr. in The Dark Knight?
James Jr. in The Dark Knight, by far.
Are you serious?
By far.
Yeah.
By far. And he's in a more pivotal scene or scenes. That's part of why it's also worse, because he's in the middle of greatness and he's mucking it up a little bit.
I can guarantee you, when you watched that movie the first time, none of that even crossed your flipping
Yes, it did.
mind. No,
Yes, it did. Yes, it did.
I
swear to, I'll take a lie detector test. It absolutely did.
knock yourself out.
And it started when he was holding, when Two-Face was holding him, and everything.
I'll
about
tell you
that
this
kid
right now. This is the
sucks.
first time I've ever heard anybody complain about the end of The Dark Knight ever.
It is a brilliant scene. It would be in my top 15 because it's so great. But to be in my top 10, that boy it took it out of the top 10. I'm sorry, it did. I had it written down, by the way. It wasn't easy for me.
How far we've fallen to put the end of The Dark Knight not on the top 10.
I am going to call complete bullshit that you sat there in that theater and went, that movie really just blew me away, but that little kid
let me tell you something. No. What I did is I dismissed it. I also thought one of the best scenes of that film was when Joker's hanging upside down and they're having that great conversation, and you and I are destined to do this forever. And Bell's Clint Eastwood voice in that scene took me out of the scene too. Like, gosh, that city just doesn't believe in good. It made me cough. I can't even do an impression of that without coughing.
All right.
You saw the end of the movie too, and you're just like, "Oh, I hope there's a third one because it can't end here."
And I thought the way Dent died was lazy.
I know, we've heard that.
But aside from all of that, it's still an A+. That's how badass The Dark Knight is. It's an A+, even with 3 or 4, flaws. Still an A+.
I've never heard that mentioned as a flaw in the film ever from anyone.
What?
Well, there you go. Historical.
The kid.
Well,
that's because you never talked to Rick Shew about it, because he's full of shit on that one. I'm just going to call it right now.
That kid's he's just as annoying as Jake Lloyd is in The Phantom Menace.
We have a
you need to watch him in Marley and Me. He's great in Marley and Me.
We did a whole BOF podcast in The Dark Knight. I don't think that got brought up at all. I'm going to have to re-listen. See how disingenuous this whole conversation is.
Okay, all right. I gave you. Okay, there's 4. All right, Rick. Give us 4 that are not owned that I did not mention. We've already any other 4 that I did not.
You don't want to finish your list, Bill?
No, let's do it that way. We'll just mix it up.
We'll go for it.
Whoa. No, let's finish your list first. I'd rather do that if you don't mind, because then that way, because I don't know what else you have on there. So let's if you don't mind, let's finish it, and then I'll counter you.
There's more after that train wreck. I'm sure there's a lot more differences between our lists the more we get into them.
Yes. All right. Okay.
Train wreck.
From 2012, The Dark Knight Rises. Bruce lives the end of the movie. The whole thing. That whole segment.
At the very end, when he becomes Batman, so to speak, and he's rising. The funeral. Where does it start exactly? Does it start with the funeral?
Well, yeah. I mean, from Alfred telling the Waynes he's disappointed them and he's sorry, and that whole
say
from
the second the bomb goes off to the end of the film.
It is on my list, and if it's not on anyone's list, you should be fired. It is absolutely a gorgeous ending. Everything about it, from the funeral all the way to when you see Bruce and Selena together and those sexy pearls, and
they all realize that he's alive. Each the main players, is all.
And then when Robin is rising figuratively and literally, it's brilliant. Absolutely, it's on my list.
All right, it's on mine, obviously. Ryan, is it on yours?
It's number 3 on my list.
All
it's
right,
on my
that's
list.
3 out of 4. Justin.
My God. Doesn't even matter. Just move on.
Yeah,
let's just skip Justin on that one.
Not on the list.
What? Oh, really?
I'm shocked. I'm so shocked. Oh my gosh, really?
All right. 3 out of 4. 3 out of 4. That's
wait, hold on. So Justin, why is it on your list? I'm just curious.
Because no Rises scene is on his list, dude.
Oh boy.
No, honestly, why?
Why?
Yeah.
the whole ending of that movie is what frustrates me about that movie. So not on my list.
Justin, do you have any scene from Rises on your list?
That's for you guys to find out later.
Oh my god!
All right. Go ahead. Moving on. We'll speed this up a little bit. After I got thrown off the loop from Rick's absolute nonsense regarding the end of The Dark Knight.
There's a lot of great child actors. Don't cast bad ones in major motion pictures. Yeah. I'm talking to you, Chris Nolan. I'm talking to you, George Lucas. Don't do it.
Oh my God!
You love The Phantom Menace, though. You gave it a B+ after you gave it a C-.
No, it's a C+. And I was there. I like The Phantom Menace. I love it. That should have been Hayden Christensen in that role, and we should have invested in him early on, and Anakin should have been a teenager when we met him in The Phantom Menace, not an 8-year-old bratty boy.
Yeah,
played by a crap kid actor.
And
who's the one person that can actually say, unequivocally, George Lucas ruined my life, because that dude has issues.
Yeah.
It's sad.
And Rick's office, he has posters of Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker framed and hanging.
Autograph.
All right. Here we go.
All right, moving on.
All right. 2005, Batman Begins. The dock scene, I'm Batman.
Oh, that scene's so good.
So I'll say, Justin, you have it in your...
I don't, but that's a great scene.
Okay. Ryan.
I love that scene, but no, it's not on mine either. And if we had to... Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was hoping you broke up on me. What's the scene?
The dock scene from Batman Begins.
Okay, the dock scene. Okay,
Batman Begins revealed.
I didn't understand that word. And then no one reinforced it because everybody just likes it. Yeah, it's a great scene. It's definitely my top 20, not my top 10.
Okay, 1 out of 4. Golly. All right,
this is going to be tough to actually.
And by the way, that's the best. That scene and then the scene in the nightclub and The Dark Knight are the two best fight scenes in the trilogy.
Yeah, I love the nightclub.
I would say the dock scene is way better than the nightclub.
The nightclub is hardly a fight.
I didn't say that one is as good necessarily. I just said those are the two best. It's a distant second in the nightclub, but I like that nightclub scene. It's just
a flimsy second.
It's ferocious.
Oh, I started this thing in a bad...
hate each other after this is over.
And my mood is getting steadily declining.
Oh, poor Bill.
All right, Dark Knight. Batman Joker interrogation scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Ryan?
Yes, it's on the list.
All right, 4 out of 4.
Did you guys know that's the first... And correct me if I'm wrong on this. I believe that's the first scene they shot.
Yeah.
Man,
together,
together, right. That scene is just incredible. Oh man,
talk about throwing both people in the deep end.
Yeah,
it's just
you know what's fun is we were watching Lego Batman the other night we had 4 kids in the house and my wife, and it was so much joy, and Marty, my wife, really thought it was just hilarious how Batman's laughing at Jerry Maguire. And she didn't even understand the context of that. And I told her after the film, I go, you know why he's laughing at that? She said, no, I go, because the Joker says that to him in The Dark Knight, that you complete me.
Oh, I just got that.
And it just enriched it more for her. That's why he's laughing. You're right.
That's the whole.
Yeah, but
I just thought it's because he laughed at movies like that. Okay. That made it even better.
But here's the thing. It's okay if you just think that. It's still funny. She laughed her butt off not knowing that. I'm just saying that's what that's tied into.
Yes.
I think this is also our first unanimous vote too, right?
It's first 4 out of 4, and also just to mention it's the first time the bat suit was ever shown in full lighting.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point.
And I want to say this. I want to start that scene with Gordon in the room with Joker first. You got to have
that's so good.
You have to have
go
that
back to the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's part of it. Yes, absolutely.
Yes, absolutely it is. And it goes all the way to him getting the addresses and then leaving. All of it.
It's the first time, just back to the Batsuit, it's the first time they felt they didn't have to hide things about the Batsuit, having it being dark. And so that was kind of showing off the new suit and how it could be, you could see it in broad daylight and it would look the way it does. Okay. I almost cut this one after watching this last night, but I kept it over 3 other things this morning. That would be the No Man Land scene.
Yeah.
From Wonder Woman.
I got that scene too, Bill.
Okay, it's. I almost cut it out of my top 10. It is a great scene. Excuse me, it is in my top 10. So that's two of us. Justin, did it make yours? I'm sorry, Justin did. Yeah, that's
yeah. Man, I love that scene. I think it's beautiful. Just it means something on a different level too. Like some people could argue it's just a scene, but I think the what it means to the character of Wonder Woman and like the timing of it coming out and just the impact it makes, that scene's fantastic.
I mean, it's the equivalent of Superman saving Lois in Superman the movie. It's I'm Batman from Batman '89. It's the Doc / I'm Batman scene from Batman Begins for Wonder Woman. Ryan, did it make yours?
It would be, it's a testament to how much of a instant modern classic Wonder Woman is that scene can be on people's lists this early. But having said that, yeah, it's absolutely on my list because it's that good. It's the scene of the film. Yeah.
All right. There's 3 out of 4 at least. Rick.
Oh, it's tough. That was on my list. I did take it off. It's a great scene. It's a great scene. It was there. But it got bumped.
It's not in your top. It's not in your top 10.
No, it would be in my top 15 easy though.
All right, that's a 3.
And listen, it's hard because I mean, I can't. I'm not gonna. I understand why it's on your list. It's great.
All right, moving on.
When we're doing these lists, some of these scenes are. We all should probably recognize that some of these scenes aren't necessarily going to transcend. Some of this stuff is just how you felt personally, whether when you were in the theater, just how you know what I'm saying. So it's personalized. And
it is. Yeah.
For most of us, it's going to be Batman heavy too, like mine is.
I have a Spider-Man scene on here that I doubt is on anyone's.
Well,
I do too.
Thinking of Spider-Man,
yeah.
I do have my next one is from Spider-Man 2.
There we go.
And that would be the L Train fight between Spider-Man and Doc Ock.
Yeah.
Yes, Justin, your top 10 or no?
I knew I don't have it. I knew I had a feeling you were going to pick that scene. So yeah, I just agree. And that scene's really good. That's a great scene.
Justin.
I mean, Ryan.
Oh, yes. Sorry, Justin.
No.
Ryan.
What? Okay. Justin, you said it was not on your list, Justin?
Not on my list. No.
Okay. It is on my list. I think that's a great scene. It's probably the best scene in the film. It might even be the best scene in the whole Ramey trilogy, to be perfectly honest. I rewatched all 3 of them recently because they came out with a new box set with a new Spider-Man 3 cut, and I rewatched all 3 for the first time in years. And Spider-Man 2 just jumped out to me as like, yeah, this is still the best Spider-Man movie, in my opinion. And this scene is a big reason why. It hits all of the notes. It's kind of a big deal to have Spider-Man get unmasked the way he does. The movie makes it a less of a big deal when he gets unmasked like 2 more times after that before the end of the movie or something like that. But it's still a great scene, and it just hits all the emotional notes, and that it was the strength in general of Spider-Man 2 is how great of a job it does with fleshing out its characters and the character work. So yeah, it's on my list for sure.
Okay. Let me real quick before we move on. So, how did Spider-Man 3 hold up after? It's been several years now.
Well, in that box set there is a Spider-Man 3 editor's cut. So it's got the full restored score. There are some score things that got replaced or removed in the theatrical cut that got put back. There's some alternate scenes or some extra scenes put in the film, which, was pretty fascinating to me because I had seen Spider-Man 3 once in the theater when it first came out, and I was like, nope, never again. This was so bad. I never want to see this movie again. But you guys know me. If there's like an alternate cut or something special, I'm going to get it because I'm curious. And yeah, just talk about Waterworld in a minute.
Is it as bad as you thought it was when you saw it?
It's pretty darn bad, but But this was the first time I noticed that, there's the heart of a good story here. And there's a lot of good things I could have seen them doing. There's actually some pretty good individual scenes going on in the film too, here and there. But the story structure, the story keeps letting itself down. It's too busy. It takes too many shortcuts. It keeps going all over the place with tone. And that's why it's definitely just kind of not even in the same league as the first two. But I was surprised to find that it's not an F that I thought when I first saw it in theater. It's more like a C- or something.
I'm not a hater of that film as much as a lot of people are. I don't think I don't know if I would call it good, but I didn't think it was as awful as it was made out to be.
Yeah, I think Justin loves that movie though.
I don't love it, but people crap on it way more than
I agree with that. Absolutely.
I don't even mind the dancing. I think the dancing's funny.
No, that's terrible. That's
I think it's funny because even in Spider-Man 2, there's like a little bit of a musical dancing scene, and it fits in the tone.
There's it's like you're watching three different movies, really. And like the Sandman, I'm like, man, the Sandman's so good. Having his
parts of him good.
But
we're gonna get we're gonna go on a long.
All right.
Thing didn't bother me, but shoehorning Venom in was just terrible. It kind of derailed the whole movie.
All right. Here we go. I have two more, and then we're going to move on.
All
right. So,
and by the way, that Spider-Man, you didn't ask me. This is not on my top 10. But a scene from Spider-Man. But a scene from Spider-Man 2 is because the
hold on. We're going to move on. We'll come back to it. All right. I have one more.
I wasn't going to say the scene.
Okay. This hush. All right.
Hey now.
I have one more. Hey now. No one will have this, but I still think it may be a top 8er, but none of y'all will have it. Elijah confesses to David the Mr. Glass reveal and Unbreakable.
Got it. I got it.
Yes.
You got it on your list, or you knew he was going to say?
No, I have it on my list.
Yeah.
I have Unbreakable reveal.
Yes. Okay, Ryan.
Yes,
I was really excited.
It's absolutely on my list. This is absolutely on my list because it's like the final perfect note on that movie. That movie is so good. Like the way, like if you want a good character study on superheroes in general, like watch Unbreakable. Which, by the way, did you guys finally watch Glass? Not Glass, but Split. I
got to see it, so let's don't talk about it. But I'm excited for it, and I'm excited for Glass. I am, and I will say this: I did not even get it was a superhero movie until that scene at the end. And
let me just say this too:
brilliant.
One of the scenes that was on my top 10 that I bumped off, and every scene that I bumped off, including Wonder Woman, I'm already having buyer's remorse. I'm regretting it already because that's what's so frustrating about this process.
Yeah.
But my favorite scene, and this also goes to the heart of great child acting and casting, is actually the scene after Bruce Willis saves those children. And then he's sitting at the dinner, and the little boy walks in, and he sees his mom and dad bonding. And the look on his face, like, oh, this is different. He sits down, he pours himself some OJ. They make a good use of like silence. And then when he just slides the newspaper over to him and he starts to cry and he's like, shh, and he's fighting back the tears. That scene is awesome. It gives me chills thinking about it. And that little boy should have been in The Dark Knight.
Been too old by then, sir.
That should have been, maybe he has a little brother. I don't know. That should have been Gordon's son.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rick, is it
or Robin?
Do you have it?
No, I don't.
Okay, but it is a 3 out of 4. All right, so that's my 8.
That's a great movie.
Oh, that's my 10. No, I have. Yeah, that's it, right? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's my 10. Okay, so, all right, Justin.
All right,
let you go. All right.
Do you want me to take the ones
first of all, Bill,
that I? Do you want me to take the ones off that are duplicates, or just?
Yes, let's do this. Yes, if it's duplicates.
Okay.
Well, do this. But just when you're going down your list, Justin, just go ahead and say, "Yeah, I got the interrogation scene that we talked."
We won't talk about.
Yeah, just go down and say the ones that you had.
So that we can reinforce them.
Okay, so
my list, Bill had 7 out of my 10.
You don't want alternates then? Okay.
Okay, Well, we can come back and make a case for some of these. So just before we move on to Justin here, we've got the interrogation scene. Dark Knight is definitely going to make the top 8.
Yeah.
Because it was a 4 out of 4. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 out of 4s from my list. So we'll have to come back to those. All right. So, all right, dude, go.
All right. So first I've got on here Man of Steel, First Flight, when he emerges from the Kryptonian scout ship. I love that scene. Just the way the music plays, and
It's great.
you just feel like he's flying.
Superman smiles. Look at that.
Yeah, he's
It's in my top 20. I don't have it in the top 10 or 15, but yeah,
I don't.
with you.
I don't have it either. I do have a scene for Man of Steel though in my top 10, but that's a great scene. I love that scene.
love that scene. Love
All
that
right.
scene. All right.
And and let me just say this. Remember in Superman the movie, the first time you see Reeves standing there after Brando's mask moves and he's in his costume and he flies off. I was in the theater when I saw that, and I hope that Man of Steel, that flying sequence, touched little kids in the same way that Chris Reeve moment did for me. The first flying sequence, that awe-inspiring, you know what I mean? That's what I feel like it probably did. It's a different generations that moment, right?
Yeah. No, it's good.
Yeah, it's
All right.
good. Yeah, I've got me
All right.
thinking of comparing it to Reeves, but go ahead.
Wonder Woman, No Man's Land, Dark Knight, Joker, Batman, Batman 89, Rooftop. Next is Blade, the bloodbath scene. That scene is awesome.
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
I mean, and that right there, what I love about that movie, it's kind of the kickoff of I don't want to say it's the modern superhero movie because that's really Batman 89, but like after Batman and Robin, there was kind of a lull. Like, this thing came out in like 98. It was like the year after.
Yeah, it's the beginning of it's the beginning of the golden age of comic book movies. How about that?
Yeah, I would say that because it kind of came out of nowhere and it was this big hit. They didn't even market it as a Marvel comic movie. It was just Blade.
Right.
Blade.
And,
yeah.
You know, nothing. I don't even think anything about Marvel was said in the credits. Just that it was created by Marv Wolfman. But anywho, Blade, that bloodbath scene was awesome. And Wesley Snipes, whoever is Blade again, that's gonna be hard because
There was already a TV show.
Yeah, there was that guy from Onyx or something. But this guy, man, he's the best. Okay.
All right. Well, hold on. I don't have it in my top, but how about Ryan? You have it in your top 10?
No, it's probably in my top 20, and but the Man of Steel scene is probably in my top 20 also.
All right, Rick.
No.
Okay. All right. Go.
Figured.
Okay. All right.
Captain America, the Winter Soldier, the Lemurian Star takedown. When Captain America jumps out of the plane, goes onto the shield ship and just starts taking everybody out with his shield. That scene was awesome. That's probably the most Batman scene that doesn't have Batman in it that I've seen in the movies. The way he just runs down the entire ship and takes everybody out. And I would end it with, man, I almost want to end it with
Is that at the beginning
fight.
of the film?
That's right in the beginning of the movie when he jumps out of the plane and he doesn't have a chute and takes takes that whole ship down. I just love that scene. Have
you seen that movie, Rick?
I have. No, I have.
Okay.
I own it, actually.
Rick.
Sweet.
Okay. You got it on your list?
I don't, but it's a great scene, though. But I don't.
Ryan?
No, it's not.
Okay. All right, Justin.
There we go. All right. Next is BVS Martha Rescue. That scene. So good.
You're kidding, right? Wait. The Martha Rescue.
Yeah, where he
the warehouse
takes out the
fight.
whole warehouse.
Okay. Yeah. That's acceptable. I thought you were. I heard Martha and I froze up, going, "Come on!" I don't
Jimmy
hate
Olsen's death.
I love the
I don't hate the Martha moment.
We need to do a worst moments podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that Martha moment in the worst, though. I think it's.
I wouldn't. No. I wouldn't either. No way.
It takes too much abuse, but it's not great either. It's just, it's okay.
Whoa, no.
But the Martha rescue scene, that's a great scene.
Yeah, I mean I think that's in the top 10 of Batman scenes cinematically. That's the first time you see him fight like you wanted to see him fight.
My only issue with that is that he blatantly kills people. In that scene is like, even if you see the extended cut,
he's a savage son of a bitch in that scene, dude.
Yeah,
he is.
I had
Those guys shouldn't bring grenades to a knife fight. That's all.
It was in my top when it was one of the 3 I cut to get to 10.
Oh man, so
I tell you another great scene in Man of Steel that I cut. I love the Clark and his dad talking.
All right. Hold on, Rick. Quit bringing shit up.
It's not. It's not. We're talking here. It's a natural conversation
about movies.
That's not. Yeah, stop talking about scenes from movies, Rick. We're trying to talk about.
Then bring that scene up when you have a chance to talk.
It's not. It's not on my list.
Okay, then stop talking about it.
We can have a can't. about these movies.
No, we can't. No, we're not.
This is not a podcast.
Right. I'm sorry. I like when Ferris Bueller dances in the parade in Chicago at the end of the movie. I love that part.
I've never seen that movie.
All right. So,
you've never seen Ferris Bueller?
You have four versions of Waterworld, and you haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
You get on me for not seeing certain Marvel films, and you haven't seen Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the best movie ever made?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Like, I know that's where, like, post-credit scenes come from. I know that.
Oh, gosh. Goodness gracious.
Okay.
I know it's got Ben Stein in it. I like Bueller. I know that. I know the little bits and pieces. Bits and pieces.
All right.
Go ahead.
Right.
Is it on your top 10?
I do have 4 versions.
Warehouse is the BVS warehouse scene in your top 10?
It is not, but it is a great scene.
Ryan.
I have 4 versions of Waterworld. Well, no, it's not in my list. It would be in my top 15, and I think Justin had a good distinction. If we were doing Batman scenes only, it would be in my top 10.
Okay. All right.
But no, it's not.
Out of 4. All right, Justin.
Goodness, all right. And I also had the Unbreakable scene. So next up is Watchmen opening credits.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man, that's probably one of the best opening credit
That's in my
scenes.
top 15.
In a movie.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's in my top 15 as well. Oh, am I allowed to speak?
About that scene? Yes, absolutely.
Am I allowed to
Go
speak?
ahead.
All right. Thank you very much.
About that
appreciate-
scene.
Okay, about that scene. Those are my parameters, right? I can't say anything. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Cool. Let's make sure I know my rules here. Okay.
Yes.
Show me. Okay, so the opening credit scenes in Watchmen is not on my top 10 list, but it is in my top 15.
I love
All
it.
right.
I love
How
that
about-
scene.
I chose another Watchmen scene.
The music and the way they just kind of told they actually just told the story of, I think that was just wonderfully done. Like something
That's a whole mini story there.
Yeah,
It is.
I love it.
It was in my top 15. Ryan, is in your top 10?
Nope. It top 15, sure, but no, not my top 10.
Okay. All right, Justin.
All right. X-Men 2 White House Attack. That scene is awesome. With Nightcrawler going through the White House.
Alan Cumming.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. That is a cool scene.
I think that's one of the best scenes in comic book movies. I mean, regardless of the X-Men franchise, I'm not a huge fan of where it's been or where it's gone, but that scene's great, man.
And remind me, did Singer direct that one, or was that when he was doing Superman?
The second one, yeah.
No. Yeah, he did.
He did not do 3.
He didn't do the third one. That's right. That's right.
X-Men 2 is it's kind of considered it's up there with Spider-Man 2 as one of the best. I think as more movies come out, it starts to slide down that list, but that scene's really good. I mean, it was shot well, the way it was edited. It was a really great scene. And
Okay.
Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler. Great job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Cumming's awesome.
Ryan, is it on your top 10?
No.
Okay. All right, Justin.
I'm batting 1,000 here. Okay, my final. So here's my 10 out of my initial. Batman Begins, Stairwell Rescue. I love that scene.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love the callback to Year One. I love the whole interaction with Gordon. I love when the bats come and all the freaking what's his name? Flash is chickens out. I love that whole thing. It's such a great scene.
He took me out of the movie though when they showed him.
Really?
No.
Oh,
It's great, and I had 2 begins in mind.
The falafel guy took me out of the movie. They should have recast him.
Well, they don't like falafels. My kids, they've got to eat.
The Swear to Me scene's so good. It's not on my list. Damn.
God, that's a great.
I know it's a good scene too. But
It's like
I love it.
perfect. And Christian Bale's Bat voice in Batman Begins is the best Bat voice.
I wish he could have been Batman like that in every single scene.
Yeah.
I do as well.
Some of the scenes he doesn't get quite there, like in Rises, but
Yeah, but one of the things I love about that scene is they didn't have all the CG in there when you first see it in the trailers. It's just him jumping down the stairwell, and it's just like it's like the cover of Batman Begins, the DVD,
Mm-hmm.
And then when you see it in the film, it's even more awesome because he's camouflaged. He's camouflaged by all the bats, and that was the whole
bats are
purpose.
falling, and
Oh, dude, it's so good. And
I have that poster, that movie poster from Begins framed with him with the wings. So,
oh man, it's so good. And I even love the part. Some people will like hate on this part, but I like when he throws the bomb on the door and he passes through, and he's like, "Excuse me," to two crazy guys.
I can't tell you. Yeah, I can't tell you how many emails I got back in those days where it was like, was that the Penguin and the Joker in the cell? Oh my God. Okay,
yeah,
I'll tell you what. Yeah,
I that's a top 20. I didn't want to. The two begin scenes that I had, I like that to me were better, and that's why I didn't list that one. Okay, Ryan, is that in yours?
It's that scene's not on my list, but I've said this before in our Begins podcast, I believe. Like, that scene has my favorite moment in the whole movie. It is when it's when the score swells and he's just running down that corridor and everything there, and then he throws the bomb and then goes through the door. Like, because that whole scene encapsulates, like, okay, he's Batman now. This is like 100% total like Batman moment.
Yeah,
and you know what? Thinking about that, that suit's kind of lighted up when he's walking down that hallway and Begins.
I don't know why. I was going to say it's
dimmer, but
shrouded.
I just remember that they made a big deal of that when I was at the junket for the Dark Knight. Was that you finally get
not quite as harsh, I guess.
Yeah,
and to be fair, it's a different suit.
Yes. Well, the whole thing was this is the first. They kept saying this is the first time the bat suit on film has been lit up in that and bright lights like it was in the Dark Knight. I mean, going back to even Keaton in '89. So, but then I thought about that scene in Begins, but
I would say even Batman Returns in the scene in the plaza, his suits
early on,
it looks pretty. It's they're all set in the.
I guess full on light.
Yeah,
I guess that's what they were.
That's what I think they're saying.
Yeah. I mean, he's fluorescent lighting. I think
he's sitting under an interrogation light. That's pretty bold.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Rick, anything? Go through your list, and then we'll, the doubles, the ones we've touched on, we'll just mention, and then the ones you want to make a case for, we'll discuss.
And I've got a little buzzer on me. Just push it. It'll like shoot a little electrical thing in my body if I get off base and I'm talking about something you don't approve of. Just don't give me great ideas like that, man. All right, so here we go. All right, so these are in no particular order. None of ours are, but the first one I typed was the interrogation scene, just because it's so great.
Okay,
all right,
it's on there. Yeah.
It's
in the top 8 right now.
Yeah, number 2 is Bruce crawling out of the pit in The Dark Knight Rises. I love that scene. I love it. I love the chanting as it swells. I love how he closes his eyes and he's meditating. I love how he gets out. I love how he throws the rope down and he is.
I love the bats that come out around him.
Yeah. I do as well. And I love the hero shot as he's standing there and he comes out and he's out in the sun and he's free. And then he throws the rope down to save everybody else. I love the whole thing. It's great. And in a lot of ways, it sort of encapsulates that Bruce Wayne perfectly. Everything he's gone through, everything that he's doing for his city is in that moment. Okay. Number 3.
Are we supposed to?
Hold on.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Is that on anybody's list?
Ryan, is it on yours?
Yes, it's the number 1 highest scene in my list. I think it's the best, most important scene in the trilogy. So.
Yeah, it's up there. It's number 1, number 2 for sure.
Okay, that's 2 out of 4, so it's on. It's we can make a case for it. All right, go ahead, Rick.
Okay, not on Bill's and Justin. It's number 1 on yours, right? Okay, moving on. All right, so
have it on 10 times.
Yeah. Okay, so number 3 is Joker and Two-Face, Agent of Chaos.
That's a good scene.
And what I love about that scene is putting 2 of my favorite villains in a scene together where they're just talking, and Harvey is Two-Face in that scene for the first time, not just because of his accident and his disfigurement. I mean, when he holds up that coin, he says, "Heads you live, tails you die."
Yeah, now you're talking.
And now you're talking. And the Joker doesn't care. Like he could pull.
That's what he wanted.
Yeah. He literally doesn't care. And I also love how perfect. Like, it's one of those scenes, too, where he seemed to put a little bit more effort in his makeup. And then you look at his fingers, and you can see that his fingers are all white from the makeup and doing it.
He just reapplied it.
Yeah, he reapplied it. He wanted to look perfect because he has his little wicked wig on and everything. He's just so effed up, and I love it. Right? It's a great scene, and I also think that performance gets overlooked a little bit because Heath was so brilliant and deserves all the recognition he got for that role. But man, Two-Face Harvey Dent, flawless performance as well. It's a great performance. Okay.
Hold on.
Is this no? Hold on. I'm gonna ask. Okay, so is that on anybody else's list?
No.
It can only be on Ryan's. So Ryan, do you have it on yours?
Nope.
Okay.
That's unfortunate.
I think Rick's gonna man, that's what makes this so hard. But I think Rick going to at least come up with another one that is on my list.
Yeah, all of these.
I complete it.
Here's the thing: they're all great. And
yeah,
it's tough. All right,
they're great. Okay, Spider-Man getting his powers back in Spider-Man 2. When he's with FJ at the cafe and the car comes over.
FJ was with FJ.
Do me a
Peter
favor.
Parker and FJ DeSanto haven't
cut that out. We don't need his ego to be stroked here.
FJ DeSanto.
Oh no!
No, don't cut it out. I think that's
hilarious.
MJ. I've got FJ on the brain.
You got FJ on the pie.
I've got DeSanto on the brain.
Peter Parker and FJ DeSanto.
That's awesome.
Buddies.
That's the best. That's the best slip ever.
That was the worst part of Homecoming. At the end of Homecoming, when she's all, "My friends call me FJ."
My friends call me FJ. That was terrible.
My friends call me FJ. Right. MJ. So anyway, here's the part that I even have MJ typed here. That's funny. I really do have FJ on the brain. So I think that scene is great, man. I love it. I love the build up to it. I love how pissed off he looks. I love when he's clenching his fist, and I just love all of it. And Doc Ock kidnaps her. That the cinematography, the way it's shot, everything. That scene rocks. Yeah. And I'm gonna guess it's not on anybody else's list, right?
I don't like the close.
I had the train fight.
I didn't predict,
Justin.
I didn't predict this one was going to make it. But I couldn't take it off.
I'm not a fan of that scene, to be honest. So it wouldn't.
Oh wow.
It wouldn't be in my. It wouldn't. It's not even on my radar.
That thing gets me really pumped. I love it. Okay,
I tell you what. To go really quick back to the train fight. When I was rewatching it, I was
no.
Hold on.
You're not allowed.
Hold on. It was like, man, this scene's so good, and the effects hold up a lot. You know, being an effects artist, I do kind of pick up on stuff like that. And then I noticed, like, oh, this movie won an Academy Award for visual effects, and that scene is probably why. So anyway, that's just another thing that I thought I could point out in terms of Spider-Man 2 being a good movie. But go ahead.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man Homecoming are just great Spider-Man films.
They were so good.
And I go back and forth on which one I like a little better, but it is what it is. Okay, Rooftop. We already talked about that with Gordon. Batman Begins. Can't beat it. All right, it's a Man of Steel scene. This one probably will surprise you guys, and I doubt it's on anybody else's list, but there's multiple reasons why it's one of my favorites. And it is when Paul Kent shows Clark who he is and shows his ship. Yeah. And that's a powerful scene. And I love how he talks about, and I found this, and I took it to a professor at wherever, and it doesn't even show up on the periodic table, meaning it's not from this planet. And he said, "Can I just go on being your son?" Yeah. And he says, "You are my son." And it kind of chokes me up because as a dad, and I also have friends that have kids that are adopted or they are help raising that love their kids those kids as much as I do. And I think about them and I think about them saying, "No, you are my son." There's no debating that. There's no gray area there to that. And I think that's a beautiful father and son moment. And I'm a sucker for father-son moments. And that's a great one. And that's just a great, beautiful scene. And that's why it's on my list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody?
No.
Nope. That's a great
I
scene,
agree.
though. That's where Man of Steel is working on all cylinders.
It's on all cylinders. That scene is absolutely gorgeous. And it's scenes like that and many others in that film that make me still love that film as much as I do, despite its carnage at the end.
Man of Steel works on all cylinders till the end, and it's just the only bad thing about it is that it's just too damn long. It's just too damn long.
Well, it's just the action overload at the end for me.
It's action overload, and that's okay. That's why it's not quite a masterpiece like The Watchmen is, but it's still really good. And some of that stuff was retroactively corrected for me to give BVS credit at the beginning. That I did like that tie-in of Bruce witnessing all that and getting as pissed off about it as we were.
You know what I liked?
It's the best part of BVS.
10 seconds. I love Jor-El and Lois on that Kryptonian ship. When she's taking everybody out. I love that scene.
Jor-El's great.
Rad. Yeah. Okay.
Opening him in steel's great. Man.
Another part I love is when he just saved the guys on the oil rig, right?
Yeah.
And he looks like Bruce Banner basically because he has no shirt and his pants are ripped. He's wandering around like he takes the clothes. And the Chris Cornell song is playing, and he's trying to find his way. And you're going, man, what an interesting. I mean, Snyder and Nolan, I guess, for that matter, to give credit where credit is due, did such a great job in kind of reinventing and showing us the side of Clark Kent. It really was sort of like the Batman Begins of Superman.
Oh yeah,
you're seeing a real journey that you never saw before. It's good stuff, man. Really.
Goyer.
Okay,
David Goyer.
Okay, David Goyer. Yeah,
he wrote the screenplay.
It's true. He did. He absolutely did.
Story was by Chris and
thanks for
Goyer.
I appreciate you pointing that out. Otherwise, that would have been good for me not to mention that. Okay, Rises from the funeral to the end. We talked about that. Good stuff. Batman opening scene. Great stuff. All right, here is my Watchmen scene. It's the birth of Dr. Manhattan. It is. It is
so awesome.
Okay, let me just say this. You talk about father and son moments. One of my favorite father and son moments in my life is when my father and I were outside, and I'll never forget this as long as I live. I was probably 7, something like that. And he was telling me, he said, you know that some of these stars aren't even there anymore. They have already fallen, but it's taken so many years to get here. We're just seeing them. And then he taught me how you're looking at the sun. That's like 7-8 minutes ago. And I was fascinated. And he looked at me and said, you're literally looking back in time. And I just was hooked. I was hooked on astronomy. I was hooked on stars. I was hooked on space. It just was it was such a cool, and I tell my dad, unfortunately my dad's still around kicking it. I bring that up to him a couple times a year. That was such a cool moment. And when you have Dr. Manhattan and he's standing there and he's just isolated and he has that photograph and he says that basically he's talking about stars and he says stars are like looking at old photographs because of how long it takes to reach us. And just that moment, I was like, okay, I'm already hooked. I don't even care where this is going. I'm hooked. But then just the way that the story is told when he actually goes into the fill generator chamber thing, right? And also he goes to get his watch, which is ties into like his dad being a watchmaker. Like that's sort of like the thing that he went to go get that was ultimately his, not so much demise, but his
transformation.
His transformation, right?
Yes,
and I just love how it goes back and forth with all the stories about his girlfriend and how she bought him his first beer, this cold, perspiring glass, and she slides it over, and you're going, God, everything, the attention to detail in the scene is just incredible. Plus, Billy Crudup is one of my favorite actors. He's great. His narration is great, and I take that scene all the way to Nixon, is it LBJ? No, Nixon telling Dr. Manhattan to interfere in Vietnam. And he goes and you see the Viet Congs that are actually like surrendering to him directly. All of that stuff is just, it's mesmerizing. It's so great.
Yeah.
Ryan, you have it?
No, but I will say that scene is like, that's one of the, the opening definitely counts for this, but that scene is like, man, this is where the adaptation, in some ways transcends even the written comic book.
I can be convinced to put that in our final 8, even though I didn't have it in my 10.
It's good.
That, yeah, I absolutely can be convinced of that. So when we hash that out, all right, Rick, you got anything else?
Yeah, I've got 2 more. Batman '89 opening scene. I know we talked about it. Let me just say this: when I saw that movie 20-25 times in the theater, hell, maybe 30, and there was also several times that I paid for tickets because I had to get to work, but I would run in just to catch that opening scene. I probably did that 4 or 5 times just to see him coming down and behind them and his cape out and he's talking for the first time. Oh, that scene's so great. Okay, we talked about it, so I'm moving on. All right. It was really hard. I cut out the Wonder Woman scene and I cut out Bruce and Selina's dance sequence at Batman Returns. Just want to point that out. Those are great scenes and they're in my top 15. But the one I had to choose, I had to do it. And it's the original theatrical release, not the Richard Donner cut. This is the canon film. Is General, Would You Care to Step Outside? Because in Superman 2, when you know he's getting his powers back, right? But you just don't know when and exactly how. And you have Zod, you have Ursa and Non, and they're up in the Daily Planet, and they're kidnapping Lois Lane, and Hackman's in there. And, he's like, hey, Gene Hackman, they're like, kill him now. He's like, wait. Remember we had a few laughs in the White House, whatever. Then it cuts and you hear John Williams' score. And then you see those newspapers blowing, and you know that's Superman, right?
Yeah.
And he flies up and he stops. And if you look at the Donner and Richard Lester differences, even this scene is even, not only is a theatrical version canon anyway, this is a scene that he improved, in my opinion. But he stops and you see him really, really pissed, right? General, would you care to step aside? And the look on his face, that's like a street fight. That's like Rocky, right? I mean, he's pissed. Yeah. He's like, my ring's outside. I swear to God, Stallone got that scene, that moment of Rocky from Superman 2. I swear he did. It's awesome. And then, come to me, son of Jor-El. And then, of course, the famous line, kneel before Zod. Terrence Stamp is so great. Oh, man. I
remember seeing that, since you brought it up. When he does that, and he shows up at the window and says that, the whole audience applauded and screamed. Yeah. It was just
so badass.
It is.
Right. So those are my top. Anybody else have that on their top 10?
No, but
no. I need to rewatch those movies now.
So great.
And I do now because there's that 3-hour cut of Superman 1 coming out.
Yes,
I'm actually curious about that.
Yeah.
I'm not like super hot on.
Yeah, you should watch it.
I will. I want to.
I would like to point out before we move on to Ryan that. For a Zack Snyder hater like I am, I have 2 of his films on my top 10. Thank you very much, Internet.
2 films? Do you have what was it, 3 or 4 out of your top 10 are from Snyder movies?
No, there's 2. I have the Paul Kent and Clark scene from Man of Steel, and I have the Watchmen, Dr. Manhattan scene.
Oh, I thought you had the intro. I thought you had the Watchmen intro on there.
No, I was saying that was in.
Took it out.
That would be in my top 15.
Okay.
And there's 2 or 3 other Man of Steel scenes that would be in my top 20. So just FYI on that too.
Yeah, I've got a lot of Snyder stuff. Nothing from BVS, but I do.
No, but although BVS has some scenes that are damn good. So
yeah, I've got the Warehouse is in my top. It's in my top 13 actually.
When Bruce runs into the destruction of Manhattan, that's like the most kick-ass Bruce Wayne scene. I mean, that's awesome.
So now he was in Manhattan. Thought he was Metropolis.
Metropolis. Sorry, did I say Manhattan? I've got Dr. Manhattan. I've got Dr. Manhattan on the brain, and I talk about Superman 2. They shot that in New York. Yes, Metropolis. Thank you.
All right, Ryan.
Well,
and just a heads up. I think we have 5 are going to make the top 8. So it's going to be an argument over the 3. So the next 3. So go ahead, Ryan.
Let's see. 8 out of my 10 have already been covered. So I'm going to go through them real fast and then do the 2 that aren't. So I've got, and I did rank them. So from 10 up to 1. So 10, I had Spider-Man 2 train fight. 9, I got You Got Me, Who's Got You from Superman the movie. Number 8, I have No Man's Land from Wonder Woman. Number 7, I have the end reveal in Unbreakable. 6 and 5, I will tell you in a minute. Number 4, interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. Number 3, the cafe scene into Dark Knight Rises from Dark Knight Rises. Number 2 is the end of The Dark Knight. Number 1 is Bruce escapes the pit and rises. So let's see So the 2 I have left, I do have the Max Quaid ball from Batman Returns with Bruce and Selina. I have that scene on my list.
Good job.
Because it's just, in my opinion, it's one of the, we talked about this in our commentary, which Rick joined us on actually, and I think it's one of the best Batman scenes in any Batman movie. Great. Just because of the way that those characters interact with each other, the dialogue, the payoff you get with the mistletoe, the score combined with the Susie and the Banshee song is just masterfully done, and the acting too. Like you see a lot has been said about Michael Keaton has been cast as Batman because of his eyes, but this scene works because of his Bruce Wayne and that, and then how he interacts with Michelle Pfeiffer's Selena Kyle. Like, they just are broken people, and just to see them interacting in this way, it's one of the best Batman scenes of all time, in my opinion. So yeah,
when she starts to break down and really lose it too, oh, it's masterful. And then I love his line to her. It's like, who the hell do you think you are?
Yeah.
And let's not forget, it has Max Schreck's best line in that whole film. You know what it is?
Yawn.
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 Yawn. Yeah. I love Max Schreck.
So, Justin, you're proud of me for putting it on my list, but it wasn't on your list. What the heck, dude?
No, it wasn't. I went into this whole assignment trying to be as like honest as possible, and like if we do a top 10 Batman list, that's a whole different game. This is a top
it is
10 or top scenes in superhero movies, and I had to go.
Yep.
Like, I think that's a great character scene in Batman Returns, but I think Captain America, like knocking a bunch of dudes out on a boat, is way better. That's just me, but.
Well, that's what I love about. I think that some of these scenes, though, they go to the heart of why we also love comic book films. Mm-hmm. It's
That's
not
very
just
true.
It's not just about the man in tights or the woman in tights knocking people out. Although those are legitimate scenes to love and belong on these lists, but it's Clark and his dad talking. It's Bruce and Selena dancing and having their moment, and that's why we love comic books. That's why we love comic book films. That's why we love these characters, because it's not just about action. And I say this, and I'm not actually trying to be facetious or confrontational here, Justin. That's one of the reasons I love Dark Knight Rises so much, because it's a lot more Bruce Wayne than Batman, and I don't even care. Yeah. You know, right? And that's just an example. It's just an example of something. It just goes to the heart of why we love these films. And we have room for Captain America stabbing people's brains out, Batman murdering people in a warehouse, and all the way to a man telling his son he loves him. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Justin. Or I'm sorry, Ryan. Do you have one more? Right.
I do have one more. And to kind of springboard off of that conversation, it's. Bane breaks Batman's back in The Dark Knight Rises. That whole first confrontation between them. I think it's beautifully shot. There is no score, just to kind of underscore how tense and real the whole thing is. And it's one of the, and they didn't just have it's just not just a slugfest. I mean, there's a story through line that goes to that whole scene, and there's different movements to it. You know, the way that it starts on the catwalk and then it goes down, and then the lights turn off and darkness is your ally. Like, all the dialogue from Bane is just pitch perfect. You know, Bruce realizes he's in over his head. You see, molded by it. Yeah, and then you see Selena Kyle realize that, oh, this is Bruce Wayne. I really screwed up, and then and so you get all that stuff, and then the end, you get that great moment where it's a straight homage to the comics, something that you don't see a whole lot of it's something I've never thought I'd see on film. And so it's just kind of it's a hard scene to watch sometimes, but it's kind of incredible when you think about all the things that went into making that scene. And to me, it's one of the first times that I truly felt that Batman was in danger in any of these films, you know? Like, oh crap, something could happen to him, because
it was the first time he's never prepared.
He wasn't prepared, and he wasn't prepared, which, is kind of harkens to the conceit of Nightfall as well, as an influence on the story. And I just think it's and Batman having a true physical match, for probably the first time. Well, Ra's al Ghul, but this is kind of a different thing. So this. Bane and Batman fight number 1, Dark Knight Rises on my list.
It's great.
Sure.
And I'm not even, as much as I love The Dark Knight Rises, and I do love that movie, I am not a huge fan of Nightfall, the story in the comics. And I thought Bane was kind of a gimmicky villain. I thought that Nolan improved Bane significantly from what his.
Well, he did to Bane what he did to all the other characters. He just got to the core of the character and it was honest and true to it.
And now look at what he's done with it too. You have, and We're the Millers. Remember that movie? It's actually pretty funny. But he gets, what's the actor's name? Jason Sudeikis? Love that guy. He's hilarious. He does a Bane voice in We're the Millers, and it's hilarious. Then you have Bane's voice is Tom Hardy's voice in Lego Batman. Right? I mean, it's just right.
Yeah, that interpretation of the character is just kind of worked its way back in all across media. Yeah,
that is now Bane, right? It's kind of crazy when you think about it.
Okay, so
it's not on my list, by the way, but it's a great scene.
Yes, it is. It is. All of these scenes are great, all except for the masquerade ball from Batman Returns.
Wait, now,
Wait a minute.
Hold on a second. In conversation, you did mention once there's one scene in Batman Returns that you would put on a list like this, and it wasn't that one. It's not that scene.
No, it's Bruce Wayne. Isn't it?
It's the bat signal rising out of the seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would put that. That would be in my top 20, and it definitely would be in my. If we did it, we'll do it, but we got to do a Batman scene at some time. But and maybe even include animation with that. But I was being a little sarcastic about the masquerade ball scene. Is well done. It is. It's well done. It is. I don't like the movie, but it's there's some things in there that
was Rick's point too. He was like, I hate this movie, but this scene is just incredible.
It's incredible, but the crashing duck almost ruins it.
Well, it ends at the crashing duck. That's where it stops.
Yeah, that's where it stops. Right.
Love
right.
the duck.
There's nothing like. I mean, some of the great stuff from Batman Returns, like catching the stilt guy on fire, and then sticking that bomb down the strong man's pants and blowing the bits. There's nothing says Batman.
Could
like
be worse. Gushing blood.
I wish that Gordon's son from The Dark Knight was riding around at the end of Man of Steel as Metropolis was getting destroyed.
Oh,
I like that.
I wish Gordon's son was the kid that got kidnapped by the acrobat, and then the Penguin saves him. That would work.
Well, I was taken out of the movie when that happened.
Yes,
that kid.
All right,
he was just too much like a kid.
I'm about to be taken out of this podcast if we don't get back on track here. So real quick, all right. I think we have 5 of our top 8. Okay, interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. Yes, everybody should be in the top on our list. Okay,
yes.
I'm Batman 89. No Man's Land, Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Unbreakable, the big reveal. Elijah confesses to David, Mr. Glass, all that. Unbreakable. Okay, so nope, that's 4. Okay, we have 4. We had half of them, so we're going to have to argue over the last 4. Now, yes, we had. Let's see, we had 3 2 out of 4s. Which are, and I'll stand on the table for this one. The Lois, Superman saves Lois helicopter scene from Superman the movie. I'll stand on the table. That's one of the greatest comic book. You know what? It would be, I would rank, if I had to see that, it would be number 1 on my list. It just would be. But anybody, who else had that on their list? We had 2 of us.
I did.
Okay.
It was
Ryan,
number 9 on my list.
How strong do you feel about that should be in the top 8 in our bracket?
Since it was number 9 on my list, I think it would be on the chopping block, actually.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'll tell you, and I may stand on the table for this one. I think Rick will too. The Joker card in of Batman Begins.
It's Rick? A good scene. I mean,
the Joker card at the end of Batman Begins. Yeah, absolutely.
That's
for sure.
That's one of the greatest scenes, comic book scenes. And you throw in him jumping off, you'll never have to, and flying off the rooftop, and then Batman Begins, and that Hans Zimmer theme hits, and James Newton Howard in that film too as well. And Rick, you gonna stand on the table for that one, or
yeah, I'll stand on the table. It also set the tone for each of the 3 films ending that represent the title of the movie too. And I just think that's awesome. There's a theme to that.
Inception
all
too.
Of them. Yeah.
All right. So here's another one. 2 out of 4. It was the Gordon speech into The Dark Knight.
Oh God, that has to go on the list. I'm standing on the table. I'm standing on 10 tables for that.
Negative.
I'm under the bar.
The end of The Dark Knight is going to be on this list. Oh my God, the listeners will prove you all wrong.
That's fine.
If this is on the list.
It belongs in the top 15 for sure.
Oh, no way.
Good God.
It's top 8. And if I'm having to pick between... if I'm having to pick between that and the Joker card and Begins, I'm going with Gordon's speech because I frickin' was speechless. No pun intended. At the end of that movie,
I'm going to take it a step further. If you look at the last scene between the Joker and Batman, where he's hanging upside down, all right, but you see him right side up with his hair, and just the dialogue. That scene really should be in the top 10. The reason it's not is, I'm sorry, Belle's voice. That's inexcusable. How off the rails they let that get in that scene. It distracts me from.
I'm with you on that.
And to me, it's exactly the same thing with that little boy. It just takes.
I just can't agree. Belle's voice doesn't even. I'm not even taken out of it in that scene. I think it's a great scene, but I think the end of the end of the Dark Knight. I don't know. We may look like the doofuses if we don't have it in the top 8.
There's no way it's not getting on the top 8.
It's got to. It's got to. There
you go.
It's between Begins and it's those two up there. I'm really. I'm debating. Okay, here's another one. Here's another 2 out of 4. The L train fight from Spider-Man 2. I'm passionate about that. I don't know if I'll stand on the table for that one though. Anybody who else was with me?
It's on my list. I love that scene. It was my number 10, and just to be true to myself, I put the Superman the movie scene at number 9, so I would have to rank that above it.
Okay. All right, so let's try to come on. We gotta get 4 on here. Rick, Justin, what do you think? Come on, something.
I think that Watchman scene needs to be in there because good.
I'm not gonna argue that.
There's not a scene like that in any other movie.
What are you talking about? Yours or mine?
The Dr. Manhattan scene or the opening?
Oh no, I'm talking about the opening credits. I just think
okay.
I think it just paints such a great picture and informs anybody who hasn't read those books or knows anything about that world, that when you watch that, it tells a great story in like under 5 minutes, and especially with the Bob Dylan song. And I think it does touch. It has a point. It has a part in cinematic history, I think. And I love it.
I can. Oh my gosh, I can be convinced of that. Okay. So we have 4. Would everyone agree with adding Superman the movie helicopter scene, the Dark Knight, End of the Dark Knight, Watchmen opening segment? There's 3. Does anybody? I cannot, in good conscience, not put the End of the Dark Knight on this list. I just can't.
No, that's going on.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Rick, you want to just? I mean, legitimately, besides the kid thing.
I can't. I'm not going 15 rounds over that scene because it's a brilliant scene. It's just not in my top 10 because that kid sucks, and it takes
the End of the Dark Knight is not in my top 8 scenes. Rick Shew. Just think about how dumb that sounds when you say it out loud.
Okay,
it's not in my top 10, but that's fine if you want it in there.
Okay. Listen to me.
I don't think. Look, if it was, I don't think it sucks, but keep it. Put it in there. That's fine.
You can even take it where it just starts at the beginning of Gordon's speech when that.
Or I can say I encourage you to just keep it and add it, like I've said 5 times.
Okay, okay. I'm putting it in there.
I encourage you to. I did 5 minutes ago. All right, moving on.
Okay. You know what?
Like, how you sound like my wife. Like, okay, fine, baby, we'll go to that restaurant. But I really want to go to that restaurant. I know, we'll go. Yeah, but why don't you want to go to that restaurant?
The experience.
But why don't you want to go there? But I'll go to the restaurant. Let's go to the restaurant. But why aren't you going to the restaurant?
Because you keep complaining about the kids. Ruining the restaurant experience.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Interrogation scene, Dark Knight. I'm Batman, Batman 89. No Man's Land, Wonder Woman. Unbreakable ending. End of the Dark Knight. So we've got 5. We need 3. L Train, Spider. I can't. I won't go on the table for that. But it looks like we're down to
Bruce crawling out of the pit.
You know what?
Is the pit scene not on there?
No.
The pit scene. No, the pit scene had it was
that's
1 out.
That's another 2 out of 4. It
was 2 out of 4. Yes. Okay. I can't. I'm willing to. You know what? That Watchmen scene. I'm getting convinced that needs to be in here.
Yes.
Does anybody
Dr. Manhattan's birth or the opening credits?
No, the opening credits. And I love both, but if I had to pick between two, I think Justin made a case for that one.
That's fine.
And
I mean, it's a great scene. It's still an opening credit scene, I guess.
Well,
whatever.
It's a segment in a comic movie.
My scene. No, that's technically true. It's a legitimate. But my scene is the birth of the character, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful scene. I think if we're gonna go Watchmen, man, we should kind of go 15 rounds over which one of those two scenes. I think mine's better.
Let's vote. Let's vote between the two. I'm with Justin. Opening credits.
The Dr. Manhattan scene is a great scene, but without the context of the opening credits, it's just lost. If you just watch that opening credit scene, you know what's going on in this world. You can tell like the setup and everything. And I think there's like the way, like a lot of people say like Baby Driver, if that movie just came out, like uses music so well. So does Watchmen. And
yes,
just the way that the times that they are changing with how everything starts off like so innocent and like this is how crime fighters are, and then to how you see it evolves into dark. Like
Okay. All right, we got 2 for opening credits. We have 1 for Dr. Manhattan. Ryan, you're gonna, and then I'm gonna flip a coin, or so we'll do something. Come on,
If I see, and this is the thing too, I'm trying to look at this like from 10,000 feet too, because Watchmen is like one of my wife's favorite movies, period. Also, and I think if I asked her which of those two scenes she thought was better, I think she would say the opening credits.
Okay. All right. Done.
I love you, Rick.
Okay.
Look, the opening credit scene is great, man. So I'm not crying over that. I disagree, but that's how this is gonna play out, right?
Okay. I'm going to stand on the table for this one. The Superman, the movie saving Lois helicopter scene has got to be on there. It's one of the I would see it number 1. We had 2 out of 4 on this one. Anybody? Come on. Somebody either make a case not for it, but you got to convince me why it shouldn't be on there.
I think Dare to Step Outside is better.
Is Bruce escaping the pit on the list? Yeah.
It's 2 out of 4. It's that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6. We have 2 to do.
If Bruce Escapes the Pit is on the list, then and there's still room, then yes, I would put Superman on there.
Okay, so it's going to be between the L Train fight and Spider-Man 2 versus the pit scene in Dark Knight Rises.
Well, that's an easy choice. That's number 1 versus my number 10, so the pit for me.
It sucks.
Pit.
Oh man, that Spider-Man 2 scene's
Justin.
So good. It's so good. What do you mean, Justin? That scene is.
I don't have
it on my list. I don't have either on my list, but if I had to pick one, that Spider-Man L Train scene is so good.
It's the best scene, but it's still, to me, it's just the best scene in the entire trilogy. It's
so good. It again, what people say Spider-Man 2 is one of the top superhero movies of all time, and it's because of that scene.
It's true.
That scene is fantastic.
Okay. I'm going to make an executive decision here. I agree with Justin. It's got to be the L Train fight scene in Spider-Man 2 over the pit.
Oh my God. Wow. I couldn't disagree with that more if I tried to pretend like I did.
It's the best scene in the trilogy.
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's the best scene in the trilogy.
Oh
so
my goodness.
That's where you lost. You don't have me on that argument.
Oof.
Come on, Justin. If we're going that way, you gotta come strong here.
I thought I did. Yeah. I think that the L Train.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah. I there's something about it that it's go and look at other people's lists, and that's there, and it's because it's so well executed. Minus the visual effects side of it, like the emotion that's there, the way the city unites around Spider-Man. Like, they don't care who he is. They don't care who he is without his mask. That part where he's just a boy. But the sacrifice that he made on his body and to protect everybody.
I mean, to me, we don't have... There's other scenes in Rises that are better than that scene, and we don't have anything on Rises other than that. I mean, I think the ending, the overall ending is way better than that scene. I think that... My part of I don't have an issue with it. I love the scene. So it's when I say I have an issue with it, but it's something that it's like there is a little bit of that where maybe there was like one too many attempts that he failed on. And all right. Spider-Man 2. Okay. All right.
Is there a scene from The Dark Knight Rises on the list yet?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
This is an abomination.
Yeah, but is this a Batman scene list, or is this a superhero scene list? It does matter.
I think that the L train scene is better than the pit scene. I do. And
you think it's better than the end of The Dark Knight Rises too?
I think the end of The Dark Knight Rises is better than the pit scene, and we don't have that. That was one. I would think I was the only one that had it in there.
I'm gonna do a Twitter poll. I'm gonna ask people which the pit scene or the L train scene.
No, they're gonna get a chance to vote.
Yeah.
No, they won't. Not if they're not on the list.
They got to vote for the top. They're gonna vote for the top 8.
You can do it. You can do it post our. I'm gonna do a Twitter poll.
All right.
People can't vote for it if it's not on the list.
You can't say people on Twitter are crazy and then go, I'm gonna have them vote.
Yes,
they are crazy, but man, the votes.
I think just okay. Here they are. This is the 8. All right. This deal. Interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. I'm Batman. Batman 89. No Man's Land. Wonder Woman. End of Unbreakable, the big Mr. Glass reveal. The end of The Dark Knight, Gordon's speech. Opening credits for Watchmen. Superman, the movie, Superman saves Lois helicopter scene. And then the bone of contention, Spider-Man 2, L Train fight with Doc Ock. Justin, how you think? What do you think about that 8?
I think it's a diverse 8 because we're not the first people to ever do this, but I think the selections in there are really good and different, and I think they paint a good picture of the different types of films that are out there in the genre, and so I'm actually really happy with the list. And I'll tell you, half of my thing, I only have one. I think I have. Well, we have a couple that we all agreed on, but like a lot of my stuff didn't make it, and I'm okay with it.
Look, I love The Dark Knight Rises. Butt hurtness. I love The Dark Knight Rises. I love it, but I can't. If I'm being objective, I gotta put the train scene in there from Spider-Man 2.
All I know is I'm exiting this show more stressed out than I was entering it.
Talk about it. All right, we gotta seed these. We gotta seed them. So it's done. We gotta seed them.
All right, seed them. Let's do our plugs and end this abomination, shall we?
Okay, 1 through 8. All right.
Do we want to reveal like anything extra? Like I had a top 12. Like, do you want to hear my other 2?
Well,
or does that not matter? Like The Dark Knight Rises.
The only reason we're at an hour and a half on this show, so I'll just name. Just name the ones I had. Real quick, I had Bruce brooding the bat signal from Batman Returns, and I had the jet plane rescue from Superman Returns in there, and I had the warehouse fight scene from BVS that had to cut to get to 10. So that's it.
Cool.
Anybody want?
I had Bruce and I had Bruce and Ducard training on the glacier on mine.
Okay,
like number 11.
Yeah, that was good.
Anybody have anything that had a cut?
Yeah, I already listed mine throughout the show, so I'm good.
That's true. I cut the elevator scene in Winter Soldier. I thought that was cool, but I didn't think it was as cool as the attack on the ship. I cut We Are Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. That scene actually makes me kind of tear up. That's a good scene. Good. And I cut Avengers Assembling. This is the first kind of that battle in New York. I thought it was cool, but it I don't know. A lot of people may argue and go, "That's a great scene," but it just didn't do it for me the way I thought against everything else I had on there. And
okay. Well, let's seed these so I can make the bracket. All right. So, does everyone think that Batman 89 should be the top seed?
Yeah.
Okay, it's number 1. The interrogation scene from The Dark Knight. Would that be 2 for everybody or no?
Yeah.
Rick, Justin?
Yeah,
Ryan, I'm sorry.
I get. So for the seeds, is it like a ranking, or is it like
we're ranking? We're ranking. We gotta rank them 1 through 8 to have to seed them.
Okay, yeah, that's number 2.
Rick, you agree?
That's cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I just gotta have to agree because. Okay.
All right, Rick, you can take that butt hurt and get on out of here right now. If you over there sound like you're upset with this.
I'm fine.
My damn mute button right here. All right, 3. I'm gonna need help on the rest of these. What would be 3?
Might as well be that
3.
Spider-Man scene.
No,
Just get rid of it. Put it on 3 and let's move on. get that damn thing out of my vernacular.
It's gonna be. Well, I'm gonna take the 3 out of 4 ones. So, Into the Dark Knight, 3.
Rises. Oh, sorry.
Into the Dark Knight, Gordon speech. That was 3 out of 4. No Man's Land from Wonder Woman, 4.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna put that Spider-Man 8. That's 8 because that was the biggest, most contentious of the ones. Okay. So 4, 5. How about the 5? The Unbreakable ending.
Okay.
Anybody? It's between opening credits for Watchmen or Superman the movie helicopter scene.
Superman the movie helicopter scene.
Yeah.
Okay, I would go with that over, and then Unbreakable, and then 7 is the opening credits to Watchmen. Okay, so we'll have 1 versus 8, 2 versus 7, and etc. So, all right, let's do our plugs. And then everybody's going to leave here all pissed off.
Not me. I feel really good about.
All right.
All joking aside, I'm not pissed off. I'm just a little frustrated that the pit scene didn't make it. That's the only one that chaps me a little bit. That's all right. This is a democracy. It's a democracy.
That must be the pits, Rick. You're gonna have to climb out of your own pit.
Hey. I just can't believe that Bill fed Justin's Rises hate in a way I could never have imagined.
I said I had to be objective. I love Rises. Love it. I think I'd argue for it whenever someone's trying to hate on it. But if I've been objective between the pit scene, now if you give me another scene, we didn't give it. No, there was no other scenes. No one was on board with me for the end of Rises, which I think is fantastic.
I was. I said a Rises scene needs to be in that list.
Yeah. Well, I would agree, but that's the one I was given, and I was just being honest. All right, so let's plug.
We live in a democracy.
Yeah. All right, Rick, plug, please.
Okay, so follow me on Twitter, ShewRick, SHEWRICK, and listen to episode 90, our last Star Wars show. It's awesome on BOF.
All right, Ryan.
Follow me on Twitter at SMB_Ryan. And listening to this podcast, you might think we all hate The Dark Knight Rises, but we don't. So go back and listen to the 2 Dark Knight Rises episodes we did. So I might do this after this podcast, so I remember how much I actually liked the movie.
All right, very good. The butthurt is thick.
Man.
It is thick.
That's so good.
All right, Justin.
Find me on Twitter at J_Rocca. And if you want to listen to more amazing opinions, you can check out the Let's Go podcast that I'm doing. And you might agree with me there as well. So there you go.
Okay, so I'm going to, real quick, I'll let announcer Rachel take us out here and she can plug my stuff. But I want to say again, we've got the Batman on Film Justice League watch parties. Rick and I will be in Austin on November 18th. Ryan is hosting his at in Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina area. Ryan, you want to just say where it is real quick?
Yeah, it's at the Frank Theaters, and we're also going to have dinner at the Chewy's Tex-Mex place, which is in the same shopping center. Yes.
That was awesome. They liked that.
Yeah.
They retweeted it, right?
Yeah, the Chewy's Twitter retweeted it. Yeah.
Elvis Presley Memorial platter. Get that. I can only do it once a year.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah. If you make the trip, that's what you should get.
And Rick, we're going to be at the Alamo Draft House on South Lamar, and we'll see what happens after that.
Once we pinpoint exactly what screening we're going to see and what time it starts, I'll make an itinerary for the full day for everyone too. So
I'm thinking I'd like to see it around 5. That would be the ideal screening because you're coming out about 7:30 or close to 8, and that's still early enough to do something and not too late not to do something, and we can have some stuff beforehand. So I got people coming from Minnesota. I got people coming from Los Angeles, you betcha, and coming from LA, from Detroit. People are traveling down to this one in Austin. So,
wow,
Justin,
that's awesome.
Yeah, Justin, real quick, you're at Pasadena. Go ahead and give
Pasadena at the ArcLight Cinema in Pasadena, and I'm working on actually a few different things, and I don't want to give them away because I don't want to say, hey, we're going to do this, and it doesn't happen, but yeah, there's a whole ton of different little pubs and eateries over there too, and so. I'm trying to figure out what works the best. And so, yeah, it's going to actually be a really fun time. And I'm really pumped. And I hope y'all come out here. Look at that. Some of that Texas got on there. Some of y'all.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. Hey. So I'm really excited to meet some of you guys and hang out and just enjoy the night. And depending on how the movie goes, we may go back to the bar. So let's see what happens.
And I looked on Google Maps, there are some cool pubs just right there by the ArcLight, so that'll be cool. Yeah. And then, of course, Chris Clow will be in Skokie, Illinois, which is a Chicago suburb. His is going to be on Saturday the 18th as well. He's at the AMC Showcase Village Crossing 18. He also will be at Buffalo Wild Wings, which is right by the theater. And then Peter, if you're in the New York area, of course, it's going to be in Jersey, but anyway, you can still do it. New York, New Jersey area. Peter Vera will be also at Buffalo Wild Wings in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and he'll be at the Regal Commerce Center Stadium 18 to watch the movie. Go to Batman on Film proper if you want details. All right, for Justin, Ryan, Butthurt Rick, I am Bill, and announcer Rachel will take us out. We'll catch you next time.
Hey now! You've been listening to the Batman on Film podcast, a proud member and the sponsor of the Batman Podcast Network, BatmanPodcastNetwork.com. You can listen to the BOF podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, and wherever good podcasts like this one can be found. Want to advertise on the BOF podcast? Go to advertisecast.com/the Batman on Film Con podcast. Follow Jett on Twitter at Batman on Film and on BOF's Facebook fan page at facebook.com/Jett.BatmanOnFilm. Email Jett via Jett@batman-on-film.com. Follow Rick on Twitter at ShewRick and on Facebook at facebook.com/BOF-Shew. For Jett, Rick, Justin, and Ryan, I'm announcer Rachel. Thanks for listening.